Carl and Damon here from Brrraains A Head-Banging Life, gbhblofficial for short, and as they made what into a TV series. It's the end. We're at the end again, folks. Another TV show wrapped up. It is the final episode of Pac-Man and the Ghostly Adventures. Season 2, episode 26, or if you're in that world that does season 3, it's technically for that episode 13 of season 3, but we're doing it as season 2 as a whole. And it's New Girl in Town, written by Dennis Haley and Marcy Brown. Yes, folks, I'm sorry to report that after the very, very strong run of episodes of the Halloween stuff and then the really strong Christmas episode, we end the show with an absolute waste of time and nothing episode and a pointless cliffhanger. Pointless cliffhanger. There isn't really a cliffhanger because it doesn't do anything different that we haven't seen before. I was very annoyed about this episode. If it had been in the middle of the season, it would have probably been fine. But being the last thing I watch of Pac-Man and the Ghostly Adventures, this is not what I wanted, I'm afraid.
Yeah, and what is more annoying is that it's written by the same people who wrote the last episode.
Yeah.
That makes it even.
Was
I mean, it makes it
regulars,
even
aren't
more
they?
annoying. Yeah, it makes it even more annoying. But I said to you off camera that I wondered if maybe they were told there's going to be another season, or they didn't realize that this was the end.
Well, possibly, but there's also more likely that these episodes weren't written in order. They're just
Yeah,
written,
yeah,
and then how they're produced and created is not up to the writers. The writers just write. That's the end.
yeah,
This would have been written. Here's an episode, and then put elsewhere. But folks, this could have gone at any point in season 2, any point, and it wouldn't have made any difference. The hint towards the cliffhanger stuff, all it is referencing the parents again. But that's all. That all it is just another reference.
yep.
Right. President Spiros's niece is coming to town and he is up security. That's nice until Silly clocks it. That makes her the daughter of Beatrice. I thought, oh my God, how clever.
Mm.
Yeah, because if it's President Spiros's niece, he is the brother of Beatrice. That would be Beatrice's daughter. And I was like, this is a really cool idea.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And then the show bans it immediately. It's not. It turns out Beatrice and Spiros have a sister that's never been mentioned before.
Yeah.
And that's who she's the daughter of. And I was like, how boring is that? And her name is Eleptica, or Ellie for short. Thank God, Ellie for short.
Yeah.
But in a weird twist, she's from Pac Tokyo and basically speaks in Japanese sometimes throughout the show. Says certain things in Japanese, but she's kind of got this like Japanese manga style way of talking where every so often she'll be like, hey, and stuff like that, and make like as if like it's a Japanese cartoon. It's weird.
Yeah.
Anyway, President Spiros orders Pac, Silly, and Spiral to look after her while she's here. And they're not happy about it because they think they have to babysit a kid. But no time to argue about it. She's arrived. First of all, actually, you know what? No. You know what? No. Even if she hadn't been a kid, why is he ordering them to fuck? Or he orders them to do it as well. Orders them an executive order. Isn't that abuse of power or what, man?
It's proper abuse.
But she arrives and hilariously, the ghosts just attack the limo. Like, okay. Anyway, Pac gets rid of them. There we go. Move on. Problem solved, and here's Ellie. And it turns out she really enjoyed it because it turns out she's a lot older. The picture that Spiros showed them was of her a lot younger, and actually she's like a teenager now. She's nice and seemingly. Now I've written the word down just because for Pac, but pretty. Now I use that word weirdly in the show because they all look like weird things. But basically the idea is Pac's into her. He's all like, oh. And he actually embarrassed himself by burping at Ghost Eyes. Meanwhile, once again, saving the episode by being funny, Beatrice is not happy to see Pac talking to her, which isn't what's funny. What's funny is the fact that Donna B's like, but you've never met her. Beatrice is that is funny. He's just offended by the fact that Pac is talking to anyone that is related to him.
Yeah.
But also, do you know who's also not happy to see the interaction?
Let me
Pinky!
guess.
Later, Pac and the gang have taken her to get some food, and Pac is showing off. It's the Ghost Gang, so Pac has to step up, which really impresses Ellie, who would like to try one of his berries, but they stop her. We then get a montage of Pac and Ellie hanging out and then becoming more friends. However, notably at the same time as montage, the ghosts keep attacking, and Pac is beginning to slacken it. That I thought again, I foolishly thought, great message here, great idea,
Mhm.
because everybody knows and everybody's done it. You get into a relationship sometimes, or you meet a girl or a boy, um, and other things go by the side. Friends go by the side, responsibilities go by the side. You get a bit enamored, you know what I mean? Like it
Yeah,
wasn't a bad idea. So I was quite intrigued to see where that was going to go. Betrayus is not impressed watching Pac and Ellie's growing friendship, but finally has an idea. He's going to get a ghost to possess her and use her to get information from Pac. Okay. It's not the worst idea, except,
we've seen this so many times.
of course, but it's his process. And this is where I come back to the thing I've said a lot. Betrayus doesn't want to win because rather than choosing a ghost that is smart, clever, likely to do a good job himself, maybe,
Yeah, yeah,
because Pac won't know it's him if he's inside the body. He decides, let's do it as a game show called Do You Think You Can Hunt? Basically, like an American Idol style game show. And that's
yeah,
why I'm like, you one serious bastard. You have no interest in winning this. You just want to have fun.
yeah.
We get several auditions. Pinky even has a go, but in the end, it's just some random ghost, which annoys Pinky. Loved the fact that it ends up just being some random fucking ghost. I
Yeah.
laughed at that. Pac and Ellie share a moment while hoverboarding, which reveals that her mother may have run into Pac's parents while traveling. And here we go. Very excited. Pac heads off to get a picture of his parents for her to see to verify that they're the ones that her mother may have run into. But in his absence, she's possessed by the ghost. So when he comes back in the picture, she ends up being quite rude and dismissive to him and just wants to know where the repository is. She ends up being so forward with it that Pinky, who's watching on, angrily gets involved. Spiral and Silly arrive, asking for Pac's help, but he blows them off so he can find out about his parents. He's just desperate to find out. And I thought that was really interesting. It's a good example where Pac can be a little bit selfish. They need his help.
Yeah.
They're asking for his help. Behind his back, the ghosts and Pinky start to fight over control of Ellie's body, with Pinky taking control at one stage and trying to convince Pac that she, as in Ellie, is bad for him. But now, having had enough of her behavior, Pac angrily leaves to stop Spiral and Silly. He snaps at Ellie, unaware that she's back to normal before leaving. Hey, folks, remember the previous episode where you made me feel sorry for Pac? Don't anymore? Don't anymore.
Yep.
Like, she's not beholden to you, dude, demanding things from her. Oh, tell me what it is. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, he's really, I don't like this. I don't get
Hmm.
it. And it feels like a regression again, where all he cares about over everything else is his parents. Didn't he just try to tell us a message in a previous freaking episode that he potentially saw a way to move on? That's where the falls for thinking the show had depth.
That's where it makes you wonder, like you said, where it's just been put in completely wrong order.
Yeah, I'm 100% convinced this episode should never have been at the end.
Yeah, yeah,
Oh, you know, even more stupid as well is that the last season one ended with the Christmas episode. So season two
yeah,
ending with the Christmas episode would have been sensible again.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
Anyway, back to but Betrayus is furious, so he fires the ghost and instead decides to reach out himself to Ellie. He speaks to her via slug camera, claiming that he's innocent of all the accusations, but then kidnaps her. He's an idiot. In the Netherworld, he tries to claim that he means her no harm, but she's unimpressed. Now, there are times where the show openly mocks itself as being nonsense. And
yeah.
here it does something that we've seen before, but it's a good reminder that the show's like, yeah, we know this is stupid. How is she able to breathe in the Netherworld? Betrayus makes her wear a snorkel.
Yeah.
It's not attached to anything. It's a snorkel like a kid uses, where it's just a tube. Like, but the tube's in the air from the netherworld will be going
It's
into
just,
the tube. It's so stupid because there's no point where she takes it out of her mouth and she starts to choke.
yeah,
It's like, but I recognize the show is being like, yeah, we know this is dumb, but it's
yeah,
funny. Pat meets up with Cillian Spiral, telling about Ellie's strange behavior, and with the help of the ghost gang, they now realize that she was possessed. Because obviously we got to rush to an ending.
yeah. Of course.
Meanwhile, Betrayus has laid the sub story on so thickly, managing to guilt Ellie to the point where it looks like she might help. But then she realizes he accidentally let slip that he's been spying on her. He briefly tries to play it off, but then just gives up. I do appreciate he just gives up and basically he's like, yeah, you're possessed, and then threatens to throw her in lava. He even removes her snorkel, so she's breathing in the toxic air. But she stands her ground. She's stubborn, refusing to help him. But then we get a reveal that he suggests he knows her father because her father's missing, long presumed dead, presumably. But for sure, before she can get the answers, in swoops Pac to save her. Pac gives her a berry to help her breathe before Spiral and Silly swoop in, pick her up, and all while Pac takes on the ghosts. And I did actually write here, oh, this is the final time we're going to see Pac versus some ghosts. Not that I care, because it's not interesting, but, right? You know, 52 episodes later, folks, there's a lot of time we put in the Pac-Man and Ghostly adventures. 22 minutes times 52. Oh, I want to do some maths. Don't you want to know how many minutes?
It's got to be about 5 or 6 hours at least.
I think it's more than that.
Mm-hmm.
1,144 minutes. So that is 19 hours, 19 and a half hours. 19 and a half hours. What the hell are we doing with our lives, eh? Anyway, right, so the final fight's out of the way. Unaware, Ellie takes revenge on Betrayus and blasts him. Finally, back in Pacopolis, Ellie reveals that she's planning to stay a while longer. And seeing Pac's pictures reveals that they are friends of her mother. The best clue yet, according to Sir C. And Ellie whispers the location to him. The show then ends with Pac declaring that they should pack their bags as they're going on their most miniature adventure ever. And that's it. We will never follow this up. That's it, folks. That is literally it. Yeah, that's the end of Pac-Man and Ghostly Adventures, a cliffhanger, and an absolutely pointless final episode that would have been fine if we had another season to come. Except we don't.
Yep.
So it's like, oh, okay. And don't get me wrong, I didn't expect it. I knew I'd read ahead, obviously, and read the little synopsis and stuff like that. But it's seeing it, particularly following the Christmas episode, I'm just like, God damn it. I just wish these shows treated our audience, particularly their child audience, with more respect. And gave them an ending that was like deserving. You haven't got to wrap everything up, but you could have found a way to do this episode about the parents and Pac even being reunited with them. Do you know what I mean? Like you ain't got to be dark, but you ain't got to be they're dead all along. You ain't got to do that. You just be Pac gets reunited with his parents. It's just a nothing episode, as we said, that belongs in the middle of the show, randomly elsewhere, and offers nothing of impact. As forgettable as most of the other episodes are.
Yep.
And that's it. That's Pac-Man and the Ghostly Adventures. Overall, a frustrating watch. At times, it was enjoyable. More enjoyable than not, I would say, to be fair. Mainly outside of boring episodes, and mainly because the content is so similar. But it's probably one of the best looking ones we've done. It's probably the funniest one we've done. I think it's had easily the funniest. And definitely the one with the best voice actors. So of the sort of short form, and by short form, the Donkey Kong Country, the Viva Pinatas, all of them, of those 20-minute ones, this is one of the strongest ones overall still, I think.
The question is, though, would you go back and watch it again?
No, God, no. Never. It's a one and done, 100%. But all of these shows are. There's no reason to. It's all too throwaway. There's nothing I would get connected to. Do you know what I mean? Like, this is a one and done.
I think I'd watch that Christmas episode again. That'd probably be it. But out of all the ones we've done, I'd probably watch Donkey Kong again because I think that's the one I connect to the most from the childhood. But then, again, as you said, I would never sit down and watch this TV series again, other than that one episode.
No, I'm glad we've done it. I'm glad we've done it because it was always going to be there, and now we know what this one is particularly like, and there are other Pac-Man shows as well that are going to be quite significantly different. So it's been interesting to do it. It's just a shame it ended in such a flat way.
Yeah.
There it is, folks. Episode 26, New Girl in Town, the finale of Pac-Man and the Ghostly Adventures. You got any thoughts on this episode and the show in general overall? You know what to do. Let us know in the comments. Thank you very much for watching. If you've enjoyed what you've seen, please consider hitting that like and subscribe button. It does help us out. You can find us at gbhbl.com and across all social media platforms. And if you really want to give us a bit of extra support, please consider buying us a cup of coffee over on our coffee page. Thank you.